I began work developing an initial prototype with an emphasis on a unique game mechanic. The requirements were 1. I had to make it in Unity 3D and C#. 2. It had to be single player or local multiplayer. There was only one screen allowed. 3. It must be completed before 2020. And finally, and this applies to every game, requirement number 4, it had to be fun. So I set out coming up with an initial idea. Originally, I wanted to create a multiplayer Mario Party inspired game with 3 or so different mini-games. The uniqueness here is that the players would take turns sharing one controller, and similarly to games such as Sports Friends and Jackbox Party Pack, the focus would be on the real-life interactions between the players. I prototyped 4 mini-games: thumb wrestling, whack-a-mole, a vertical platformer race, and a gravity manipulation game. They got a lot of support and positive feedback from testers early on, but there was a problem. It was a much too large scale of a project, and I couldn't see it being the fully fledged, fun game that I planned in the amount of time available. Something important about games development is the dev needs to know when to bail when their prototype doesn't work out, and so I've abandoned that ship. At least for now. Nevertheless, the challenge continues. The small gravity manipulation prototype I created had given me the means to create a new, unique game mechanic. In testing sessions, I'd observed people really enjoying being able to move objects around the environment and thought to myself, I can make a game out of this. I decided that a Portal-esque puzzle game would match this mechanic perfectly, and thus began working on a new prototype. Spoilers, it would end up getting an even better response than the original minigame idea. Now, level design is crucial in puzzle games, so I carefully thought out each stage in a way that would slowly introduce the player to the mechanic, without it feeling as though their hand is being held and they're just playing a tutorial. They're introduced to the basic FPS controls first: walking, looking around, jumping. Then they're taught how to move cubes by spawning black holes. This is all done before the first real puzzle even happens. The first puzzle teaches the player that a cube placed on a pressure plate can activate a lift. The second puzzle takes that a step further, teaching them that a single pressure plate can operate more than one, in this case a lift and a door. It also shows them that they can remove black holes to solve the puzzles as well. And the third puzzle incorporates all that they've learned so far, using 2 pressure plates that operate separate doors, and here's the catch: they must be activated in the correct order to be able to complete it. So something I'd like to show off is how I created the black hole effect in Unity. The way that once one is spawned, it sucks in nearby objects. So what happens is, it checks every fixed update, which is every new physics frame, whether or not there are objects of the specific type, find colliders within radius. Objects of the specific type, so on the correct layer, within a certain pull distance, which is a variable that I can just set to whatever I would like. That could be 5, 20, doesn't matter. And basically, if there are matching objects within that area, it will pull them towards them. And what it does is it applies a force in the direction of the position of the black hole minus where the cube that it's pulling towards it is. Now, this piece of code is really simple, which is why I like it so much. And what I've done is, by making certain variables such as the movable object layer, the pull distance, the mass at which, if something is too heavy or dense, it won't get pulled in by the black hole. These variables will allow me to create variations within the mechanic so that in later stages, in later levels, the player will have more limitations or be required to do certain things, such as you have to find a cube with the correct kind of mass, otherwise you're not going to be able to complete the level.